I would just notice that there was a pair of shades that he gave me, and they just kept dropping. And I'm like, at the time, I wasn't, I didn't piece it together. And so that was like the only real encounter I had with him until almost a year later, and I had a dream.
So,
Oh,
when did your spiritual awakening start? What does that look like, or what did it look like?
what's weird? I grew up in a Christian home, Anglican specifically. Um, I would say my first awakening started when I was very young. I was about 13, 14. That was like the initial one for me because I had some very serious questions that no one could answer. And from then I was like, I don't know. Maybe this isn't the path for me. But the most monumental one happened when I was 25. Um, I lost a boyfriend at the time to an accident. And from then, it was just like, this Christian course that I'm on is not the way for me. I couldn't find solace. I couldn't find comfort. I couldn't find anything that uplifted me and made me feel like there's hope. And eventually I started into Rastafari even. I was, yeah, yes, I had the necklace and the skirts and I was into it, and then I shifted because it's a journey. So I legit evolved throughout that time. But yeah, the most significant one would be the loss of my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, okay, that's deep. So, my question is like, did you find yourself like trying to communicate with him, or just like talking because you have lost him? I know with the shock and the grief and anything like that, did any of that occur?
I After a while I had a dream. Whew. Anyway, the first things, I wasn't actively trying to communicate at that time because I wasn't there yet spiritually.
Okay.
But I would just notice that there was a pair of shades that he gave me, and they just kept dropping. And I'm like, at the time I wasn't, I didn't piece it together. And so that was like the only real encounter I had with him until almost a year later, and I had a dream where he was protecting me. So it was that was basically the only time I can say we've had a face to face or a voice to voice, in
Okay.
the spiritual sense.
Okay. Okay. But that's beautiful though. That is, I mean, just for him to reach through. And I don't know, this is just my interpretation, but it's like, okay, so it was a year later. I feel like it takes them a little while to get acclimated on the other side and gain that
Mm,
strength to really, come through strong like that.
yeah.
So that was good. That's very loving. So,
And I also feel like sometimes the person left behind needs that time to at least, grieve some, heal some, because
mm,
immediately after you lose someone, you see them 2 days later, you're all over the place. So
yeah,
I think it's about energies becoming on the same sync as well,
yes.
where the individual is more aware and more calm to be able to see the source of spirit coming through, trying to come through. So it's like a, receiver, sendy type of frequency, I feel like.
Okay. Yeah, and that makes sense though. Really, it does make sense. You need time as well. I mean, it's a transitional
Mhm.
period, and like I say, everything. I believe is a divine timing thing. And that's
Mhm.
something that I had to grow to kind of realize,
Yeah.
Um, so after that, then how did the awakening progress?
With a lot of reading. Um, like I said, my first option was because, I am a Caribbean woman. So my first option would be to, go to the Rastafari. And it was kind of sad because there were a couple of individuals who I wouldn't say turned me off. They showed me that it wasn't for me
Okay.
because I was all with the, Empress and love and all of the ITIL foods, all of that uprising, all of that. But it showed there were individuals who showed me that there were certain, how do you say it, stigmatism when it comes to love.
Okay.
Not all is accepted. Could be
Just
your choice of
conditional.
lifestyle mainly. And I was like, whoa. Like I said, it's not everyone, but the two individuals I knew, they were all love and light and positive. And it's so positive. But when a certain topic about individuals who live a different lifestyle came up, it was like a totally different person came out, like,
Oh yeah.
very aggressive, damnation type thing. And I was like, oh wow. I think I'm a scooch over here a little bit. So then I just started reading more. The internet, oh my God. I'm not gonna lie, the internet is a godsend because these are things I wouldn't have any access to. I have to probably go to a library. And I started to read. And when I read, I relearned. And how I knew I relearned because what they were saying resonated with me. It was like, yes, that makes sense. Yes, I felt it. It wasn't like, oh, okay. It was like, yes. And I I I guess I just went off the deep end. I started with crystals and then some spiritual books. I love to read. I'm also writing as well. So it's just the act and the practice of it. It's what really drew me in once I, stuck my toe in the door.